Hey everybody, Brandon here.
And I'm Leia.
We're just popping in real fast again to drop in another bonus episode from our new podcast called Pages Unbound. We did it last week. Hopefully some of you listened to it and liked it. That one was written by me.
Or at least didn't hate it.
Hopefully didn't hate it. This one we're presenting today is the second episode found over on that podcast feed, written by Leia and
Written
performed mostly by Leia with a small little Brandon at the end.
Yes.
What was this story called?
Sinking Stones.
Fully original by you, fully written by you. Lovely story. I really enjoy it. Hopefully everyone else will as well. And if you do, please like and subscribe over on that feed as well.
Yeah.
Maybe share that.
Share it with someone.
Share it around.
Hey, this is a great story.
Pass it
Listen
around
to
to other folks. Anyway, hope you enjoy this episode. If you do, just
let us know. This story, found in Chapter 2 of Dark Pages Unbound, Sinking Stones, written by Leia McAleavey. I'm somewhere unfamiliar. I don't know how long I've been here. Hours? Days? I feel a heavy sense of nausea and dread not knowing where I am. My eyes drift, unfocused, to the left. A brick wall slick with moisture. To the right, a woman lies strapped to a gurney, limbs cinched down with cracked leather restraints. Her skin is pale and waxy. The smell of copper is heavy and thick, like rusted pennies soaked in sweat. It clings to my nostrils, coats my tongue. As sensation creeps back into my limbs, I become horrifyingly aware. I'm bound too. My wrists are raw against my restraints, my ankles aching, my jaw burns. Something's in my mouth, something tight. Breathing is a struggle, shallow and choking. A gag, filthy and wet. Panic surges like acid, my chest convulsing. I thrash, but the bindings bite deep, unyielding. The room itself seems to press in. No windows, no lights save for the faint flicker of a lone fixture overhead, buzzing like a dying insect. Nothing else is notable in the darkly oppressive room aside from the door to my right, in front of my roommate's feet. I force myself to look at the woman beside me again. Wait, is she even alive? I stare at her chest, something I used to do when I was watching my babies as they slept in their cribs, searching for that gentle rise and fall. Nothing. I can't see her breathing. I squint my eyes and I stare. There, yes. A small heave in her chest rises slowly, then falls again. A quivering breath, so faint, I almost doubt it. Shallow. Fragile even. Barely tethering her to this world, but alive. Relief mixes grotesquely with terror. I try to rewind my mind. The last thing I remember, I was in the elevator of my high-rise, descending from the 22nd floor. I was going to pick up my brother from the airport. There was an older woman in there with me, maybe in her 70s. Then nothing. A void, like I was erased. As I struggle to clear the fog in my head, a sound cuts through the thick silence. Footsteps. Measured, almost casual. A rhythm too calm for this place. Moments later, the knob turns slowly and the door creaks open, revealing a figure swathed in the darkness of the void behind them. A man, tall and deliberate, clad in a black suit and wearing a silver mask that reflects the minimal, dusky light like liquid mercury. He pushes a metal tray on wheels, its contents clinking softly. He walks steadily to the side of the other woman. He carefully lifts the surgical cover of the tray as if he were lifting a bride's veil, a reverent ceremony. A glint catches my eye, and I see surgical tools. Clean, sterile, and shiny, in stark contrast to the oppression of this place. Without a word, he lifts the nameless woman's shirt, exposing her stomach. The man selects a scalpel from the tray, and he hovers it above her, as if choosing the precise place to cut. With his free hand, he prods her abdomen gently, intimately. Then, without fanfare, he cuts. The blade slices through her flesh easily, gliding along an invisible line. Blood wells up in rivulets of red ruby. The woman convulses violently, lurching about, her back arching against the gurney, limbs trembling. But she makes no sound. Not a scream, not a gasp. Her silence is deafening. She spasms in a grotesque, puppet-like dance as the man calmly continues his macabre work. It's unbearable. Shock grips me and I freeze up, a blessing in disguise. I truly don't want his attention turned to me, especially after seeing this monster perform such an insidious act. The only sounds are the squeaking wheels beneath the gurney on which she lies, the wet whisper of steel through flesh, the hollow clang of her restraints. Her mouth gapes open, but no scream escapes, just a soundless horror that mirrors mine. Then she goes still. The man slides his gloved hand into the open cavity of her abdomen and begins to root around. I choke on bile. It's slow, deliberate. Eventually, he withdraws something small and red, trailing glistening streams of gore. It's not a heart. It's not any organ I recognize. It looks solid. A scream tears itself from my soul but remains trapped behind the gag, a dry, ragged moan vibrating in my throat. I silently weep for the woman beside me. The man turns. He locks his attention on me. He holds the red object with reverence that makes my skin crawl. As he approaches, he cradles it like a sacred relic. And I suddenly understand. I'm next. He sets the object aside with care, then lifts my shirt. The air feels cold on my skin, but it's not just temperature. It's the invasive cold of not being seen as human, but indifferently, as if I were a thing. Our eyes meet. Nothing stares back at me. No curiosity, no rage, not even cruelty. Just the detached interest of a surgeon with another operation in front of them. I try to struggle, but the shock still has hold on me and I cannot move, as much as I desperately desire to get away. He pokes at my stomach, feeling for something. Tears well up in my eyes and flow down across my temples. I can feel them pool in my ears. Fear clouds my mind. Rage pounds in my veins, and confusion watches over me in waves. He seems to find the exact spot, then gently, carefully, he picks up the slick red object and places it on my skin. The object is solid like a stone. It's still wet and slick with blood, still warm from the woman's body. A moment later, he releases it, and it sinks. There's no incision, no pain. My skin swallows it like warm clay. I watch in mounting horror as it disappears, as though my body wants it, needs it. When it's gone, completely submerged inside of me, a wave crashes over my mind, dragging me under. I'm no longer in the room. I'm somewhere else. When else. Chanting echoes all around me, low and guttural. I smell incense and spices. Shadowy figures twirl in furs and grotesque animal masks, their limbs contorting in odd angles. Their eyes shine through the masks as they dance in devotion to their ceremony. Again, there is only silence, but my essence feels the unnatural rhythm that enchants the dancers. In the distance, The woman. She is faint and lightly obscured, the centerpiece of their exaltations and fervor, but unmistakably, it's her. I see her for only a brief moment, then she and the mysterious scene fade away. Then I'm back. Back in that room, that suffocating chamber, still strapped down. The woman beside me is a slack corpse, her mouth frozen in silent horror. I lose time staring at the ceiling. Her blood drips in a rhythmic tap, splashing onto the floor with wet smacks. But there's another sound now. A soft, wet, skittering sound, like the claws of a cat on linoleum, but more fleshy. Fast, erratic, the sound of tiny clawed feet. Something moves just outside the edge of my vision. I strain my eyes toward the shadows, toward the corners of the ceiling. I don't want to see any more horror. There's something else in here with me. The man in black enters again. He wheels the woman out of the room, leaving me alone. Well, alone with that skittering something. Time disintegrates as the tapping claws tease and terrorize me from below. Minutes, maybe hours pass, or maybe none at all. When the man in black returns, it's with another gurney. On it rides a man, still alive, screaming, choking against the gag wrapped into his mouth. His eyes are huge with terror, veins pulsing like worms beneath his skin. The man in black turns to me, his gloved hands almost tender as he removes my gag. My first instinct is to speak, to plead, but what spills from my mouth is wet, pitiful gurgles. It takes me a moment to realize I don't have a tongue. I probe the hollow of my mouth with instinctive horror. Just a cauterized stub remains, twitching like something still trying to remember how to speak. My breath tastes like copper and burned meat. The mutilation had been done expertly, surgically. I don't even remember when. I try to form words, but they die in my throat. He doesn't respond. He pauses for a minute, and in that moment I thought maybe he was trying to understand the nonsense spilling past my lips. He looks beneath my gurney and mutters something guttural, words that feel wrong in the air. Strange symbols that I instinctively feel are old. Maybe even older than language itself. As if they predate meaning. A precursor to human speech. They shake the room, vibrating in my spine like a tuning fork plunged into bone. A reprimand to something. The skittering something. He kicks at it, and my gurney shudders as sharp claws scrabble away into a darker corner. I don't look. I can't look. The man in black focuses on me again, and I start to mumble again in a desperate attempt to communicate, but it trails off as I hear beneath his mask laughter. Thin, needling mockery pouring from behind that smooth, blank mask. I trail off, realizing he's laughing at me, making light of my garbled attempt to reason. He quickly turns from me to the man on the other table, still laughing. The man on the table still weeping, still fighting in his bonds. The man in black lifts the man's shirt, grabs the scalpel, the same scalpel, still wet, still red. The man on the table sobs harder now, every inch of him trembling. His begging is almost inhuman, strangled by terror and the gag in his mouth. He makes sounds I've never heard a person make, like an animal that's been cornered and knows its end is at hand. No fight or flight possible. The procedure is the same as it was with the woman. The man in black holds the scalpel in a hover, and with his other hand pokes around and finds the right spot. Then the cutting begins. The woman wasn't coherent enough to scream. This one was. And he did. louder than he was before, sobbing harder than before, struggling more wildly than before. The man in black slices through him with surgical indifference, parting layers of skin and fat and muscle with practiced efficiency. The room fills with a hot, wet, metallic stench. The man in black digs around in his victim's viscera. The man on the table whips about in sheer agony and fear for his life. His screams are loud and shrill, and I can feel his pain in every anguished shout. His mouth stretches so wide with his cries that his gag comes loose, but the man in the black doesn't bother replacing it. He just allows the poor man's desperate screams to echo through the room. My ears feel clogged with the sound of his suffering. My body trembles, and I want to disappear. I want to be home, but I can't move. I am made to watch. The man on the table slows his struggles as the man in black burrows his hands deeper into the other man's guts. When finally, either exhausted and in shock or dying, the man's pathetic howls cease. And then, there it is. The man in black withdraws another stone, larger, brighter even, throbbing with an aura. Light pulsing like a heartbeat. Beautiful even, if it didn't fill my being with abject hopelessness. The man on the table locks eyes with me, as if blaming me for what happened here. His expression twists, not in pain, but betrayal, cursing me as if I could have or should have saved him. I want to scream that I couldn't, but I cannot scream. I can only watch as he dies. He dies staring at me, his teary eyes silently pleading to me as he slips out of this realm and into the next. The man in black places the larger stone on my stomach. Again, it sinks into me and I absorb it once more. I feel it root in me, wrapping itself around something deeper in my organs. The me that I am floats away. Reality folds inwards. And I'm elsewhere. The ritual scene is the same, but this time it's deeper. The place is clearer. The incense is sweet and cloying like rotting fruit. The dancers twirl faster. Their masks almost appear alive. The soundless vibrations make my bones feel soft. The erratic, spasmic dancing is more effervescent. The entire mystic scene is more real. It's tangible even. The man from the gurney is beside me this time. He seems confused and frightened. But as the mad dance before us reaches a pitch, a warm light falls over him. He turns to me, eyes locked, and he smiles. No longer fearful, but full of purpose. And just like that, he vanishes, as though he was never there. Not ascended, not taken, erased, absorbed by unreality. Gone, like a thought forgotten mid-sentence. Like he was never real to begin with. I remain, longer this time. The ritual builds as the sacred dancing continues. The frenetic movements and unnerving waves of terror and despair through me. One of the masked dancers approaches, their mask twisting and shifting forms. We don't speak, but their thoughts enter me like 1,000 needles. While I feel like I can understand them, I can't comprehend anything. My mind buckles. I feel the vastness behind the veil. A consciousness so enormous, so uncaring, that to exist within its notice is to lose all meaning of self. And then I fall. I fall into the dancer's mind. There is no end, only an endless void. I scream without lungs. I forget my name. I forget I ever had a mouth to speak it. Then suddenly I'm back, in the room. The erased man is there too, now certainly dead. As the woman before him, his blood drips to the floor. The clawed thing skitters again, this time closer, It's tapping so loud, it fills every crevice in my skull. The sound becomes solid, a wall of static pressing against my mind. I close my eyes. I weep without sound. The man in black returns. Once more, he scolds and chases away the skittering thing. He stares at my abdomen for a long while, then, without ceremony, pulls a flip phone from his pocket and dials. The voice on the other end is garbled, nonsensical, warbling like speech through water. I understand only one side.
She saw all of it. She didn't even look away. She seemed to stay longer when the subjects were awake and coherent. Yes, I think we should do it a few more times. I really think she could be the one. Let's begin with 10 trials and work our way up. We can see how subject health affects adherence. I'll get back to you after the 10th trial. If she survives that long, we'll take the eyes and run the trials again, just to be sure. After 9 p.m., yes, I know. I wouldn't want to wake the kids. Oh, okay. Have a great day at work. I'll let you know what I find. I love you too. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Dark Pages Unbound. Story, Sinking Stones, written by Leia McAleavey. Voices by Leia McAleavey and Brandon McAleavey. Story rights held by the story's author. Please contact Dark Pages Unbound for submissions or suggestions at darkpagesunbound@gmail.com or at Dark Pages Unbound Podcast on Blue Sky.